This is a really long video. This is probably going to be divided into part 1 and part 2. Stopping before I went to Riverview and picking up when I went to Riverview, because Riverview is the second chapter of my life. It's where I got my fresh start, like I said, and I was able to... I already spread my wings and flew when I went to Yellowknife, but when I moved back to Fredericton, they were caged again because I was living with my mother. And when I moved to Riverview, I'd say that cage was like semi-open, so I could step out, hop around, fly around the room a little bit, but I'd have to go back in the cage in a little bit. Pretty much after I got kicked out of high school 2 years in a row, and I couldn't really find a job here. I don't know, Fredericton to me, or it used to be, it's still kind of snobby, but it used to be a very snobby place. I went in for an interview at Wendy's with makeup on, and they just kind of looked at me and was like, okay, so, sorry, you want part-time or full-time? I'm like, fuck. I didn't say fuck you, but fuck you. I wanted the job, so I was like, oh, haha, part-time. I moved to Riverview and had a job within probably about 2 weeks of being there. So yet again, another community better than Fredericton. I have no pride in my city, none whatsoever. So I moved to Riverview, that was my fresh start. I got a new job, I lived with my grandparents. Now it's weird because my grandfather, he used to be this way, but I don't know how he is now. I know my mother is a lot worse now, but my grandfather used to be the worst one, and I think me living with him kind of opened his eyes a bit, and he's still not accepting, and I'm still not his granddaughter, and he still has comments, and he still runs his fucking mouth to the ground, and I want to smack the fucking shit out of him, but I don't because you respect your elders. I just don't talk to him. Which sucks because I really love my grandmother. She's not, I don't know if she's supportive, but she's not unsupportive either. There's my mom and my grandfather who are like on the unsupportive side, and then my nana who's like kind of in the middle. She doesn't really voice her opinions, so she could be either side, she just doesn't voice. I don't mind that. Just don't be disrespectful. Don't be a total prick. Oh, you should cut your hair because you're never gonna find work like that. Oh, you put Nikki on your diploma? You know that's gonna bite you in the butt when you go to work, right? You might not be able to get a job because of that. To which I replied when we were going in to get my, this was later on, but I held on to that grudge, and when we were going in to do my road test, one of the times, Grandpa was behind me, and I was like, oh, by the way, how do I go about legally changing my name? And he just kind of scoffs and walks away. Like, yeah, because I've never actually said I'm transgender. To him, at least. My nana knows. My nana saw me bawl multiple times because of my mother and because of people. And my nana was a good rock. I love my nana. Riverview was where I started growing my hair out. My nana was a hairdresser, so at first it was really short pictures. I'll put a couple pictures up there. That's when I kind of started growing my hair out longer, and she cut it multiple times. And we do trims every 2-3 months to just kind of like stimulate the growth again. And that was 2014? So, has it really been? Well, no. Because that was high school and it was still kind of short. In high school, they never really let me cut it past, let me grow it longer than there. It was always pretty short. But once I got into college and I was 19, I think when I turned 19 and I kind of became, because I was 18 when I was there and they were still kind of controlling me because I was in high school when I was 18, so I still had to listen, sort of, for the most part. They didn't, well, I didn't really listen, I just kind of didn't speak. So through high school I was wearing makeup and I grew my hair out a little bit longer, like I said, to there about, but I was never really able, I wasn't wearing bras then at that point in time. It wasn't until college that I started wearing bras. And then the end, roughly about I only did 5 months at Riverview High School. That's right too, because I only needed 1 semester before I had enough credits to graduate. Towards the end of Riverview High, I started talking with the guidance counselor, and they put me on to the Silvis Clinic in Moncton, which is where I first started spironolactone. Now what that is, it's a testosterone suppressor, like I said. So because I still have my testicles, once I have my surgery, they'll be removed. But because I still have them, they produce testosterone, so there's still testosterone flowing through my body. So before they could put me on estrogen to kind of fill my body up, they put me on spironolactone. They started me off at 50, and by the end of it, I was up at 200 milligrams. And basically, there was a little bit of boob growth, and my facial hair stopped growing as much. I didn't have to shave every day. I mean, now I don't really care. If I'm having a lazy day and I don't want to shave, I'm not going to shave. But at that point in time, it was high school, and I was like, okay, I'm shaving every day. Because I did makeup every day. Because that's what you do in high school. And then you get into the real world, and you're like, I don't got time for that. But, I mean, sometimes you look nice. What had happened there was I was on that for a couple months. I had told my grandmother at this point in time. So my nana was driving me to my appointments, and basically it was putting a lot of anxiety on her to kind of be keeping it for my grandfather, which is whatever. So for the next couple appointments, I was cabbing back and forth, and I was only working part-time, and on top of that, I'd have to pay for my medication because I didn't have any benefits through work. And spironolactone, that was like nothing. That was like 30, 40 bucks. But estrogen, that can be a pretty pricey one, and I didn't have any benefits to pay for it, so it was all going to be coming out of my pocket. On top of that, I would be coming back and forth to the clinic too, and that was going to be putting a big dent in my paycheck. And I was in high school, and I wanted to party a lot more than I do now. I was not as, I don't want to say responsible, because I'm not fully responsible right now. I have a lot of growing up to do still, but I was less responsible then. So I didn't really think about my future. I never really planned my future. I just kind of took everything how it went. Wake up the day, go through the day, go to bed, repeat. And then somehow I made it to 21. I'm like, oh, shit, I gotta start being an adult now. And then after I graduated high school, I went off to college, and in college, that was when I was a lot more free, because I was an adult. At that point in time, I'm 19. If it's gonna be seriously this much of a struggle for me to be me and live with you, I'll go move out on my own, which eventually happened, but that was a different story. College happened, and I lived with them through college, and I started growing my hair out longer. I started wearing more feminine clothes. I didn't buy any dresses yet. I still didn't have any skirts. I started buying my first leggings in college because I was massaging, so I was like, I can't massage in jeans. So after I graduated college, my hair was probably about maybe this long. Maybe a bit shorter. After I graduated college, my hair was probably about this long. So, high school, college, 2 years later, 2 years later. Like I said, when I had already came out as transgender at that point in time, and going into Riverview High School, I went into Riverview High School as a woman. At FHS and Leo Hayes, I wasn't very adamant about my pronouns, but going into Riverview High School, that was a fresh start for me, and I was like, no, I'm going to get respect. So I went into Riverview High School as female, straight from the get-go. There was no guy. I was a she. I was a girl. I identified female. I told people my pronouns were she and her. You can respect them or you cannot talk to me. And I mean, you get pricks that would be like, you're a guy, deal with it. And I just wouldn't talk to them. Overall in high school, I did have it okay. I mean, I went through a lot of different incidents, but for the most part, I had a good squad around me that kept me protected. So I didn't really get beat up a lot. Once in high school, once in elementary, and once at a bar. So I've only got beat up 3 times so far. But, I mean, the bar one I was really drunk, so I couldn't really defend myself. High school, High school, I didn't really fight back, but he only got one punch in, and then I had him kind of locked up in a hold so he couldn't punch me again. And then he was like, "Are you done?" And I'm like, "I'm not even fighting, I'm just holding you till you stop." And then, because I mean, I'm not a fighter. I really am not. I can fight. I don't look it, but I got plenty of strength. My clients tell me this all the day. They're like, "Oh shit, you pack hard pressure for a little girl." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'm strong." It's mainly because I was a cheerleader. We bench press people. We're tough bitches. In college, I was fully accepted. 100% all around the board, be it my classmates, fellow students in the other classes, teachers and faculty, even the dean, I guess. It's not a university, so I don't know if it's a dean, but the head mistress lady, she even accepted me. They actually pulled me into the room. I gotta go back a bit. So in Leo Hayes, I started to use staff washrooms for the first time. When I was talking to the guidance counselor, they wouldn't let me use the female washroom, but they knew I was having issues using the guy washroom, so they were like, "Yeah, you can use the staff washroom if you want. Whenever you need to use the washroom, you can come get a key, and we'll let you in, and then you can bring the key back." And I was like, "I'm not really gonna go for that, but that's okay." So I just didn't use the washroom at school. In college, that was when I started using the girls' washroom. Because at that point in time, I had never really considered it, because to me, like I was told in high school, you can use the staff washroom, but you can't use the girls' washroom. So I never really even considered talking to them about it, because that's just what I was told. And I don't know, I've never really been a fighter, like I said. I've always just been someone who's passive, take it how it is, and roll over. So the dean, or whatever her name, pulled me into the office, and she's like, "So you identify as female, correct?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm female." She's like, "You're using the guy's washroom still. Like, nothing wrong with that. If you want to, you can use whatever washroom you want. But are you, like, do you want to use the girls' washroom?" And I was like, "I can?" I didn't even consider that it was going to be a possibility. That took about halfway through college before that meeting took place. And since then, I've been using the girls' washroom. If I go to the bars, if I go out to a restaurant, just because I was told that it was okay, I can do it. I can be who I am. For the longest time, I was told I can. So that's when I started using the girls' washroom. That pretty much brings us up to today. So after I graduated college, I moved back to Fredericton. I mean, I lived with my mom, and that was hell. So I moved out within the first 4 days. Pretty good place. And then I moved back to my mom for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. November to, oh shit, 3 months. How did I survive? November to February. I moved back November like 4th, 5th. Moved out July 27th. And I didn't even want to wait the 3 days. I was like, oh, how soon can I move in? 3 months has been too long. So that's how I moved out of my mom's. And then I'm at work. Work is supportive. I mean, if clients book in, they book in with me, they book in with a female. If they book in with a male, we only have one male massage therapist. His name's Scott. His name is not Nikki. Just saying. Yeah. I guess, I mean, you guys already know about my consultation, but I'll talk about that again. I went to my consultation about 2 weeks ago. Got some forms to take up to the hospital, go do blood work tomorrow, and then I'll get on estrogen in a couple weeks, hopefully. So yeah, that has been my transition so far. A couple pieces I probably missed out here and there, but that's okay. You get the gist of it. It's been a rough life. Anyways, love you guys. This is a 47-minute video. This is way too freaking long. Part 1, part 2. That's how it's gonna be. I didn't think I was gonna make it this far, but that's okay. See, that was the problem. I bunched up like a whole 2 years into one short little sentence, and I'm like, okay, so much other stuff happened in between. So, I've had a shitty fucking life. See, this is why I don't like to look back at my past. I just try to keep looking forward. Forget the past. Shit. Didn't happen. Water on the bridge. Ugh. So yeah. Yeah. On top of that, I would be cabbing back and forth to the clinic. And